Greetings. Thanks once again for joining us. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. We bring you today from National Harbor, and we're trying to get you a little bit of the view there. I want to thank you once again for joining us. We're going to get a little stability going. So what I wanted to do today is take a look at something that I call sine curve trading and investing, as it has to do with Tesla. So what this concept is that take some time, for example, so before we get into it, just a reminder, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Wanted to encourage you to take time to like and subscribe. Your comments are always appreciated. So what I wanted to focus on today is a concept that I call sine curve investing and trading. So as we've discussed in the past, one of the problems with trading and investing is the fact that if something actually works well, the tendency is that everyone will pick up on that idea, and then that idea will go away as a concept. So what my goal today then is to introduce something that I think is somewhat new for a group of you. I think it'll be very profitable, particularly if we back test the data. But I also think that anything that works, the bots and algorithms will gang up on it. So as you can hear, we've got a lot of birds visiting, and they obviously love the show also. So what this concept is about is the fact that one of the things that happened is that maybe 2 years ago when I first started my show, there are a couple of people that pointed out, well, why are you bothering to cover things like economics and other trends? And the argument made was that why don't you just do the same shows everyone does when they look at the color of the cars, etc. Please, sir, I think you need to go. Thanks. Ho, ho. Thank you. A little McDonald's food hunting crows here, as you heard. So what I wanted to emphasize today is that we have an interesting thing happening with Tesla. So I'd like to ask you, if you go to Yahoo Finance and type in Tesla, they'll give you the option of looking at 1 month, 3 months, 9 months, all the way back 5 years on Tesla stock. What you'll notice is there's this, what I call reverse sine curve process that's going on. And what exactly is that? So if you think about a sine curve is kind of a loop of that sort. Well, if you flip it upside down, that sine curve now looks like what Tesla's been doing every quarter for the last 4. So our trend has been, just as you saw yesterday, earnings came out, but we already got the number in terms of how many vehicles were sold. The only question was, what does profit look like? And we already knew that number would be down because Elon pointed out, and we all know, that prices were being lowered. So then the next question is kind of, what should you do about this sine curve phenomenon? Well, I don't know if you noticed, but it's become a trend over the last 3 quarters. And one of the ways you can trade or invest Tesla well is noticing trends and working to modify how you do your investing and trading, anticipatory of how Tesla tends to operate. So the weirdest part of this whole thing that I've been noticing is that in most stocks, there's a pretty predictable pattern where the news that comes out around earnings causes the stock to move up or down, and then that trend will continue for the whole quarter. Well, guess what? That's not the case with Tesla. So, why is that? How is that working, etc.? Well, if you think back about the news that was affecting Tesla's stock price, a lot of the big news that happens and things that occur tend to occur in the middle of the quarter, not at the beginning or at the end. So we're seeing this dive. The other phenomenon, obviously, is different types of investors are choosing to make certain moves at certain times. So we already in our preview talked about the fact that we're expecting a dip. The dip is related to the fact that if your earnings are declining, you're immediately locked into the old models of how companies tend to behave over time. So I wanted to bring this up today because if we look at this trend in a larger scale, what you'll notice is that the way this trend is playing out, there's this thing called the introduction of the Cybertruck coming on November 30th. Now, the question is, when is that happening? And it turns out that I want to pick up the Woodrow Wilson Bridge behind me was the goal that I had with my movement. So what happened is that we had this phenomenon where, are they introducing the Cybertruck at the same day as they're announcing earnings? Nope. Are they introducing it at the end of the quarter? Nope. They're introducing it in the middle of the quarter. And this follows a trend by Tesla of all these different things that are being introduced mid-quarter. So your largest amount of impact of people seeing and driving these vehicles is tending to move into the middle of that quarter. So the question that comes up then is, should you care? Well, the fact of the matter is there's a lot of money involved because the peak of price and the trough of price are actually pretty significantly different. So if you're timing your trading or investing consistent with the reverse sine curve that Tesla is tending to do, it can actually be very lucrative. And so again, go back, type in Yahoo Finance, and then type in Tesla, TSLA, it'll give you the current price today, but look at the bottom of the screen and you'll notice they have this one day, 1 week, 3 weeks, a month, 3 months. And then watch the curvature of the graph that they're drawing, and you'll notice that, there's a reverse sine curve. So in my mind, the bottom of this curve will occur in the next 2 or 3 days, and the peak of the curve will occur, in this case, I believe, in the middle of the quarter, just as we discussed, and it'll be around the 30th, because that news of the Cybertruck hitting, people getting their vehicles, giving their opinions of what's going on, is going to be significant news as we set up towards the future. So I was surprised to see this same concept keep repeating itself over and over again. But if you're paying attention, actually it can be very lucrative because it allows you to time your buy and sell of stock, buy and sell of options consistent with this new pattern. As I said, I think this pattern will last at least through this quarter because of the Cybertruck being introduced mid-quarter as we discussed. But I think it'll stay in place because we seem to be news-driven in terms of what pushes the stock price. And the news in this case is huge relative to the Cybertruck. Now, how are the earnings and all that stuff? I would say that my reaction to the earnings was, it was fine. We got a new vehicle coming. That new vehicle is going to represent significant new sales. We also have, sort of steady but not spectacular growth on existing products. I was daydreaming this morning about what it is that's missing from Tesla's lineup that I think might have a big impact. And probably half the people I survey about electric vehicles are really mad about less than 600 miles of range on their vehicles. So if you're listening, Elon, there are a lot of customers that want that 500 miles. And so they're willing to give up some performance to be able to cut the headache of having to chase charging facilities, even though Tesla has the best charging facilities out there. So I would say that there's probably some model at 400, 450 in range, but the magic holy grail is at 500. And until somebody delivers that 500 at a good price, I think the market segments across the board have somewhat been filled, and they're waiting for something new that represents better value than they currently have. As you know, Lucid is running a 500-mile range vehicle, but they're climbing above 100K, even to 150, and that's too high for a lot of customers, especially in this interest rate environment. So, congratulations, Tesla, on a decent quarter. Congratulations on the Cybertruck finally being here. I know we have a lot of them right now in Fremont that are being tested, handed out to employees to make sure everything's okay. We also look forward to more consumers getting a hold, so we can get open looks at the value that this vehicle offers, so that we can see if this is going to be a monster, million vehicle per year competition for Ford, as many are discussing, or it's going to be kind of a niche vehicle that sort of sticks around but doesn't make a lot of noise. I believe it's a high noise vehicle, looking forward to its arrival and the revenue and sales that go with it. Any rate, we definitely look forward to your comments on all of this. So this is the end of our formal comments. I wanted to move on today to our usual sort of health tip discussions. So I had a chance to have a conversation with a nurse this week, and we had an interesting conversation about the combination of hypertension and then its attachment to kidney failure and diabetes. So I'd have to say I was really motivated to get the workouts more steady and regular, because those that have hypertension have a precursor to a lot of other bad disease issues that will affect health short and long term. So I wanted you guys to consider sort of looking through, this hypertension information space, as well as, health management through exercise of different types to maintain control on all of this. At any rate, we want to thank you once again for joining us. We have more health tips below if you're interested. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Tschüss, au revoir, le hitro, hodahata israel, ni hao ma, konbanwa, namaste, arrivederci. And in Jamaica we say, enough respect, walk good man. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and bye for now.